Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to cover some of our ELA and math that we plan on using for our 5th grade homeschool year. So what we're going to be using for spelling is spelling connections, and we've been using this curriculum since 2nd grade, I believe, and next year she'll wrap this up and then go into level 5. And I really like their approach to spelling. The units all have the same flow. So you start off with word study, where you're learning your words that you're going to be using through the unit, or some of the words, because they do add some more later in an extend period. And then, so you have your words, and then they ask you to sort them with, following specific rules. And so you're doing that on a separate piece of paper. She has a spelling notebook that she uses. And then you have connect to vocabulary, connect to reading, connect to writing, and then the extend word study, which is where they add extra words and then apply to content. And every unit looks like this. You have your, what the lesson is for the unit. So suffixes with ER and EST. And then same format. You have your word sort, and then it goes through vocabulary, reading, writing, the extend, and apply to content. And this has really been working for us. This is actually a really, really great curriculum, and I really enjoy it. So I don't see us stopping this curriculum anytime soon. Okay, moving on to grammar and writing. And if you've watched any of my videos, this is not going to shock you. Essentials in writing, because this is what, we've been using for also like the last 3 years. One of the best things that I've learned over the years of homeschooling is if you find something that works, stick with it. And I already have so many different subjects where I have so many moving parts, and I, enrich them so greatly that we've been really lucky to find a great grammar and writing curriculum and a great math curriculum, to where we don't really need to change or enrich that much. I still do a little bit, just because that's who I am, but these standing alone are wonderful. So yeah. If you have never used EIW, the very first part of the curriculum is grammar, and then the second part of the curriculum is composition, writing. So, and this does not work for us with the layout, but the lesson plans and how the lessons are, they are video lessons, very short, bite-sized video lessons, and then workbook to follow. Now, the reason I say the layout doesn't work for us is because we do homeschool through a charter, and so we do have state testing. And if you homeschool through a charter and you have state testing, then you're probably familiar with the CASP test. And once your student hits 3rd grade, your CASP tests, there's a writing portion. And the writing portion is either going to cover narrative or, what are the other ones? Off the top of my brain, I'm shooting this late. Narrative, opinion, and there's one other one. Oh, expository. And so it's going to be one of those, under one of those umbrellas. And so I always have to kind of move the lessons around to make sure we cover those before we do our testing, so they're fresh on her mind. So if she gets an opinion prompt, she knows exactly what she needs to do. And if she gets a narrative prompt, So basically, if I were to do these exactly as they're laid out, we would have the test before we even hit those topics. So every year I've had to kind of move things around. Still, actually, is not that much of an inconvenience. It's still pretty easy. And now next year will be my 3rd year doing that. And this year went way smoother than last year went, and so I only imagine that getting easier. So yeah, we're sticking with EIW. So this is the student book. Then you have the teacher book, which is, I mean, this is so tiny. It just has, you know, how you can lay out the lessons. And see, I already actually mapped it out in here. CASP would be around here. So then when we hit here, we're going to switch to here and hit expository, and then here, hit descriptive paragraph. And I kind of just flagged things out already, so I'm prepared. Then basically the rest is just like an answer key. So there's not a lot here, but it works. And then we have assessment and resource booklet. So when you're doing the lessons, every once in a while, you'll come across a little stop sign. It says stop, complete assessment 17. That's when you pull out your assessment booklet and you pull out assessment 17, and then that's the assessment they would do. So yeah, super easy and open and go for me. I love it and I appreciate it. And now we'll talk about math. Actually, before we talk about math, I forgot I have this resource that we'll probably use a little bit. I mean, we'll probably use like a couple things out of here. But this is a book. I don't want the glare for you guys. That's why I'm holding it weird. So this is a book. It's all about reading company. And it's all about homophones. So they have this basically broken up by grade level. So yeah, I think I just saw. So yeah, so all grade 4 is behind here. So for her, we would find her grade level, and then maybe every once in a while do some of these so she can be familiar with the different homophones. So yeah. Okay, for math, our tried and true Math with Confidence. We have used Math with Confidence since kindergarten, actually. And we love it. In fact, I'm petrified that grade 6 is like the last grade, just because this curriculum has really worked for our family. So you have the instructor guide. This thing is a beast. I mean, this thing is an absolute monster. And the author of this, Kate Snow, I think she has her own YouTube channel actually, and you can just going on her page, I think you can find a lot of stuff about this curriculum. The reason this curriculum works for us is because my daughter is a kinesthetic learner. Like, she is very hands-on, has to be touching things, has a very hard time focusing. And this is very interactive, very hands-on. There's a lot of games, a lot of manipulatives, and it just kind of fits her learning style. So the student workbooks come in 2 parts, and they're colorful, not like the teacher book. Nice and colorful. Beautiful, colorful, fun pages. There's the table of contents. And the table of contents for book 2. Yep, that is what we're using for math. Thank you for watching, and until my next video, bye.